The following are true scary stories submitted to me by my viewers. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you can catch all of my future content. Let's begin. The following is a submission from Noah List. This happened to me about 2 years ago when I was 16. It was just an average summer night. It was around 8 p.m., but it was summer, so the sun was still up a little. I was walking around with my friends, Nick, Riley, and Andrew, in the old part of my town. We called it downtown. There are two parts to downtown that are separated by a giant bridge. So as the sun set, my friends and I started walking towards the other half of downtown. We crossed the bridge, and by the time we got there, the sun was practically gone. We kept walking, and soon enough it was around 9:30 p.m. We started walking towards this big ice rink. By now it's pitch black, no cars, and no people. We walked towards this dark train bridge that overhung the road. It was so dark, to the point where you couldn't see your hand in front of your own face. Not to mention, there was a forest under the old train bridge. We walked along a dirt path that led into the forest. We were joking around, saying things like, "Watch out, we might get mugged," and laughing about it. Suddenly, I started to get a bad feeling. I told them we should turn around after maybe only a few minutes of walking down the path. We turned around and started back towards the road and ice rink. After getting back onto the side of the road, standing 15 feet in front of us, there was a huge man. He was at least 6'7", dressed in all black, with his hood up, and a face as pale as snow. We quickly decided to cross the road to the other side. After we crossed, the man kept staring at us. Soon enough we passed each other. He kept looking back at us, and not soon enough we reached the parking lot in the ice rink. It was really bright, so we could see everything around us. But then my friend Nick got the bright idea to yell, "Pussy!" Andrew, being a scaredy cat, automatically sprinted across the parking lot. I ran right after him to catch up so he wouldn't be alone. Riley and Nick were still in the parking lot, jogging and laughing. By this time, Andrew and I were around the corner on the sidewalk, waiting for Riley and Nick to catch up to us. We all stood on the sidewalk together, laughing and our hearts pounding. Nick, Riley, and Andrew had their backs to the ice rink just down the road. I was facing it, so they couldn't see the black shadow weaving in and out around the cars. I thought it was just a lady getting into her car. But then we heard, "Hey, fuckers!" This must have literally been 2 minutes after sprinting away from where Nick had yelled at the guy. We all decided to sprint in different directions. Riley and Andrew split off, and I went with Nick. We ran through the alleyways and over the church lawns. Then we all came to a dead end and regrouped. We were trapped. Riley got the bright idea to jump over the wall, and I was about to. Suddenly, Nick yelled, "Don't!" As it turns out, the wall was a 30-foot drop to the river below. It was so dark that we couldn't see this. I almost jumped to my death. So again, we were trapped. Nick saw this little metal fence to our right, so we all climbed it. It dropped about 3 feet and into someone's backyard. It was pitch black again, no lights, and only the sounds of our breathing. We were crouching and moving next to the fence in the backyard. I climbed over, and so did Riley. We dropped down and waited for Nick and Andrew. Once all four of us were over the fence, we moved to a truck in the alley. We literally moved from truck to dumpster until we came to a light. This light had the alley just ahead of us lit up clear as day. I slowly crouched forward to move to the next car on the other side of the alley. I saw the man dressed in black with his hood down this time. He was looming back and forth. I jumped back into the darkness, and the man stopped and looked around. We could see his feet from under the van. He said, "I'll find you kids," followed by this creepy, diabolical laugh. We all froze in fear. He started walking towards me in the light. We all looked at each other and said, "We're gonna have to fight." Luckily, Nick had a rock in his hand. Being a football player, he threw it as hard as he could towards the house across the street, right through the window. The man in black turned around and moved towards the noise. We sprinted as fast as we could past his back, and out of the alley, back onto the road and to the left. We darted towards the bridge, which was filled with lights. We made it onto the bridge and continued sprinting back into the other side of town where there were people moving around and open stores. We reduced to a normal speed again, catching our breath and laughing, but still in terror. We started home. Andrew didn't say a single word on the way back. We would look behind us every so often to make sure that no one was there. Not soon enough, we made it home safely. Lesson learned: never yell or call people's names at night in the deserted part of town. The next day on the news, the police had caught a man that was convicted of murdering 4 people and dismembering one of their bodies. When they found the man, he had a machete on him, a few smaller knives, 2 garbage bags, and razor blades. The picture that they showed was the same man that chased us from the night before. That same snow-white pale face. That night there were 4 of us. Would we have been his next 4 victims? We will never know. The next submission was submitted by Blue Dragon. This story happened to me about 5 years ago when I was just getting into airsoft, so I was like 8, and with my friends, I'm gonna call them Bob and Jim. My friends and I didn't like to go to the airsoft fields because we were just starting out and people had much better airsoft guns. So, we played in either our backyards or out in the woods that were about a half-mile away from Bob's house. We were in the backwoods because we thought it was a better battleground. After a while of shooting and playing around, we heard a growl. At first we thought it was a bear, and we got scared and started to run for our lives. Then we heard a voice. "It's okay. Sorry for scaring you." My friends and I were confused. Our parents were at Bob's, so we shouted at the person to show himself. He came out from behind a tree and said, "I see you guys play out here all the time. My house is in these woods." We knew there was only one thing in these woods other than the trees and animals, and that was a shack. He said that we should go with him back to his house, and we all said no. Then he got a look on his face like he was just shot. I noticed that he looked homeless, wearing a ragged jacket, which was weird being in the middle of summer in Florida. I also saw that he had no pants, just ripped up underwear. I shouted at him, "No, we are not going with you, so go away." He just stared at us. Then he picked up a stick and ran after us, all the way back to Bob's house. We told our parents, and they called the cops. Meanwhile, the guy was outside hitting the window and shouting, "You fucked up, kids, and now I'm gonna kill you." One of my dads yelled, "We called the cops!" and he ran away. When the cops arrived, we told them where the location of the man and the shack were. When the cops found him, they discovered something disturbing. He had a child porn ring channel, or something like that, running in the shack, and he wasn't homeless. Also, that stick he had was sharpened and had razor blades all over the end of it. Who knows what he was going to do to us, and for how long. This next story was a submission by Kim Shoveland. This happened to me in 1980 or 1981. I was 10 or 11 years old at the time. I might add, I'm a girl. When I was a kid, I would sneak out of my house at night and go over to a friend's house. Not a good idea for a young girl to do, as I found out one early fall night. It was an October night in Indiana, just like you would expect. Cool temperatures, full moon, and bare trees swaying in the wind. With my dad asleep, I decided to sneak out of the house and visit my girlfriend who lived maybe 4 blocks away. To get to her house, I had to cross a set of abandoned train tracks right by my house and then go through a short wooded path. After I walked through the path, it was only a couple blocks to her house. The last 2 blocks were just average houses in an average Midwest town. All of the houses were dark that night. I make my way to her house with no problem. I knock on her first floor window, like always, but that night she didn't wake up to meet me. So I thought, oh well, I'll catch up with her tomorrow. No big deal. Now here's when it gets creepy. As I'm leaving her yard and starting down the street, I see an old white van pass me. As it gets right beside me, it slows way down. I couldn't make out the face of the driver or if they were alone. Keep in mind, I'm a 10 or 11-year-old girl, alone, on a dark street, with no one's house lights on that I can see. After the van passes by me, I see it turn around the block and start heading back towards me again. Only this time, it's not going as slow. At this moment, my heart's racing, thinking all of the horrible things that could happen to me. Being kidnapped, raped, and killed. I just take off running as fast as I can. I make my way down the 2 blocks, through the wooded path, and over the tracks back by my house. Once inside, I was shaking in terror. It took hours to calm down. I never looked back to see if the van followed me or not. I never told my dad what happened that night. Needless to say, I never snuck out again. I hate to think about what could have happened to me on that night. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe so you can catch all of my future content. I'd like to remind you I will be doing a Q&A this weekend, so if you have any questions you'd like me to answer, feel free to leave them down below. I'll try to get through as many as I can. I've also decided I will do a very quick face reveal and a picture. I'm not going to do a whole video of my face. I can't even stand looking at my own face half the time. I hate it. I fucking hate it. Not really that bad. And just remember, it's always scarier if it's true.